Isabella, I'm sorry, but Sophia's been kidnapped again. My fiancé left me at the altar for the 6th time, so I followed him and uncovered a mind control conspiracy, human trafficking, and a plot to destroy my family. I never thought I'd be writing this, but here I am at 3 a.m., hands still shaking from what I discovered today. My name is Isabella, I'm 29, and I've been engaged to Marcus, 34M, for 3 years. We've tried to get married 6 times. Yes, you read that right. 6 times. Every single wedding has been canceled because of his assistant, Sophia, 26F. She always has some emergency, some crisis that requires Marcus to drop everything and rush to her side. A panic attack during our rehearsal dinner. A family emergency during our ceremony. A stalker threat right as we're exchanging vows. For 3 years, I've been the understanding fiancé, believing Marcus when he says Sophia is just fragile, just needs his protection. Today was supposed to be wedding number 6. I had convinced myself this time would be different. We were at the altar, I was in my grandmother's dress, and Marcus was actually saying his vows when his phone buzzed. I watched his face change, that familiar look of concern washing over him. Isabella, I'm so sorry, but Sophia's been kidnapped. I have to go. I snapped. 3 years of patience evaporated in that moment. No, Marcus, not this time. But he was already walking away, leaving me standing there in front of 200 guests. Again. Something felt wrong, though, really wrong. Sophia's kidnapping seemed too convenient, too perfectly timed, so I did something I'd never done before I followed them. I hired a private investigator last month after wedding number 98, just in case. He'd been tracking Sophia's movements, and what I found out today changed everything. Sophia wasn't kidnapped. She was at the Grandview Spa, 40 miles outside the city, having what looked like a very intimate conversation with a woman I'd never seen before. The pie got photo Sophia laughing, relaxed, completely unharmed. The woman she was with appeared to be in her mid-40s, professionally dressed, with an air of authority that made my skin crawl. I confronted the spa receptionist, claiming to be Sophia's sister. Turns out this mysterious woman was Dr. Helena Ashford, a psychologist who's been treating Sophia for the past 6 years. The same 6 years Marcus has known her. The receptionist mentioned they meet there monthly, always in private, always paying in cash. When I got home tonight, Marcus was waiting with flowers and apologies. He told me Sophia had been found safe, that it was all a misunderstanding. He looked me in the eyes and lied so smoothly I almost believed him. Almost, but I couldn't let it go. While Marcus slept, I went through his study. Hidden in his locked drawer, I found medical files that made my blood run cold. Brain surgery records from 3 years ago, after Marcus's motorcycle accident. The surgeon's notes mentioned experimental treatment for trauma recovery performed by Dr. Helena Ashford. There was something else in those files that made me physically sick, a small device described as a neural implant for anxiety management. The technical specifications were beyond my understanding, but one phrase stood out: remote activation capability for therapeutic intervention. Read it? I think my fiancé has been mind-controlled for 3 years. I think this doctor. Helena Ashford has been using him, manipulating him through some kind of brain chip. Every time our wedding gets close, she activates it, and Marcus feels this overwhelming need to save Sophia. But why? What could she possibly want from us? We're not wealthy, we're not powerful. Marcus runs a small security firm, and I work in art restoration. What's the end game here? I'm scared to confront Marcus directly because what if I'm wrong? What if I sound completely insane? But I'm also scared to do nothing because something tells me wedding number 101 isn't going to happen unless I figure this out. The worst part is, I still love him. Even after everything, even after many broken promises, I can see glimpses of the man I fell in love with. The way he looks at me sometimes, like he's fighting something inside his own head. The way he apologizes with tears in his eyes, like he genuinely doesn't understand why he keeps hurting me. I need advice, Reddit. How do you fight for someone who might not even be in control of their own mind? How do you save a relationship when you don't even know who the real enemy is? So Reddit, AITA for wanting to investigate further instead of just walking away. Because part of me wonders if I'm the crazy one here, chasing conspiracy theories instead of accepting that maybe Marcus just doesn't love me enough to choose me over his assistant. Update coming soon. I'm meeting with the private investigator tomorrow to dig deeper into Dr. Helena Ashford's background. Something tells me this rabbit hole goes much deeper than I ever imagined. Hey Reddit, it's been 2 weeks since my original post, and I wish I could say things have gotten better. They haven't. They've gotten so much worse that I'm questioning everything I thought I knew about my life. First, thank you to everyone who commented on my last post. The people telling me to just leave him clearly don't understand the situation, but those who encouraged me to investigate further were right. What I've discovered has shattered my world completely. I met with my private investigator, Jake, the day after my post. He'd been digging into Dr. Helena Ashford's background, and what he found made my blood run cold. She's not just some psychologist with questionable ethics. She's connected to a network of missing persons cases spanning the last 15 years, all involving young people from wealthy families who simply vanished without a trace. But that's not even the worst part. Jake found records linking her to an international organization that the FBI has been tracking for years. Human Trafficking, Reddit. Dr. Helena Ashford isn't just manipulating my fiancé, she's a kingpin in one of the largest trafficking operations in Europe and North America. The pieces started falling into place when Jake showed me surveillance footage from the spa. Sophia wasn't just meeting with Helena for therapy sessions. She was reporting to her, like an employee reports to a boss. In one video, we could see Sophia handing over what looked like photographs and documents. In another, Helena was giving her what appeared to be instructions while pointing at pictures on a tablet. I felt sick watching it, but I had to know more. So I did something stupid and dangerous. I followed Sophia myself. She led me to a warehouse district downtown, where I watched her meet with 3 other young women, all around her age, all carrying similar manila envelopes. They weren't victims, Reddit. They were accomplices. That night, I couldn't sleep. Something was nagging at me about Helena's name, like I'd heard it before but couldn't place where. Then it hit me like a freight train. I called my mother for the first time in 2 years. I need to explain something I didn't mention in my original post. My family isn't exactly normal. My father, Alessandro Romano, isn't just any businessman, he's the head of one of the oldest families in the country. Not the kind that runs restaurants and community centers. The kind that operates in shadows and speaks in codes. I left that world when I was 19 because I wanted a normal life, wanted to be just Isabella, not Isabella Romano. When I told my mother about Helena Ashford, the silence on the phone lasted so long I thought the call had dropped. Then she said something that made my hands shake. "Come home, Isabella. We need to talk." I drove to the family estate yesterday, a place I hadn't set foot in for 10 years. My mother, Victoria, looked like she'd aged 20 years since I'd last seen her. She sat me down in my father's study and told me a story that explained everything. She wasn't always like this, my mother began softly. "Helena Ashford, she used to be your father's partner." I blinked. Partner in what? Years ago, they worked together in a covert Interpol operation. It was called Project Lantern, meant to expose trafficking networks in Eastern Europe. Your father was the strategist. Helena was their top psychological profiler. They were brilliant together. What happened? The mission went wrong. A leak from inside. 12 agents were killed in an ambush. Your father made the call to pull the team out, but Helena refused to leave. Her son, Luca, was with her in the safe house. He was only 15. My heart dropped. They were both captured. Helena survived. Luca didn't, or at least we don't know what happened to him. The body was never found. Helena blamed your father. She believed he abandoned them. My mother looked away. She didn't start out evil, Isabella. She was brilliant. But when Luca disappeared, she cracked. That pain, that rage, it became her identity. She didn't just want revenge, she whispered. She wanted to destroy everything we loved, slowly, without mercy. 15 years ago, when I was 14, I had a younger sister named Lucia. She was 6 years younger than me, beautiful and brilliant and everything good in the world. One day, she didn't come home from school. The police said she'd been in a car accident, that she'd died instantly. We never questioned it because we were too destroyed by grief to think clearly. Lucia wasn't killed in an accident, Reddit. She was murdered by Helena Ashford when she was only 16 years old. My father had been working with international law enforcement to shut down trafficking networks, and Helena killed my sister as a warning. My parents covered it up as an accident to protect me, but they've been hunting Helena ever since. The reason I met Marcus, the reason our paths crossed 4 years ago, wasn't coincidence. Helena had been watching me, waiting for the perfect moment to strike back at my family. She arranged for Marcus to meet me, probably had Sophia introduce us at that coffee shop where I thought it was fate bringing us together. Everything has been a lie, Reddit. Every moment of happiness, every laugh we shared, every time I thought Marcus was choosing me, it was all part of Helena's revenge against my family. She's been systematically destroying my life as payback for my father's interference in her business. But here's what really breaks my heart. Marcus doesn't know. The medical files I found confirm it. He has a neural implant that Helena can activate remotely. Every time he abandons me for Sophia, he genuinely believes he's saving someone who needs help. He's as much a victim in this as I am. My mother told me something else that changed everything. My cousin Maya, who I thought died in a skiing accident 5 years ago, is alive. She escaped from one of Helena's facilities and has been working underground to rescue other victims. She's been building a network of survivors, women who have turned their trauma into weapons against the people who hurt them. Maya contacted me yesterday through encrypted channels my mother provided. She calls her group the Crimson Roses, and they're not just survivors, they're hunters. They've been tracking Helena for years, saving dozens of other victims, but they've never been able to get close enough to take her down. That changes now, Reddit, because Helena made one crucial mistake. She kept me alive. She wanted me to suffer slowly, wanted to watch me break piece by piece as she stole every moment of happiness from my life. But instead of breaking me, she's given me a purpose. I'm not just fighting for my relationship anymore. I'm fighting for my sister who never got to grow up. I'm fighting for every person Helena has stolen from their families. I'm fighting for Marcus, who deserves to know what love feels like when it's his choice to give it. The plan is already in motion, Reddit. I'm going to pretend to forgive Marcus, to trust him one more time. I'm going to plan wedding number 6, and I'm going to make it the most beautiful, elaborate celebration Helena has ever seen. Because it won't just be a wedding, it'll be a trap. Maya and the Crimson Roses are coming home, and we're going to end this once and for all. Helena thinks she's been playing chess with a naive girl who just wants her happy ending. She's about to learn she's been playing with a Romano. Some of you might think I'm crazy for not just walking away, for not letting the authorities handle this. But you don't understand. Helena has been operating for 15 years because she has people in every system, every organization. The only way to stop her is to make her come to us. Wedding number 6 is going to happen, Reddit. And this time, the only person who's going to be surprised by what happens is the woman who's been pulling the strings all along. Next update will be after the wedding. Wish me luck, I'm going to need it. Reddit, I'm writing this from a safe house 3 days before what I'm calling the wedding to end all weddings. If you thought my last update was intense, buckle up, because the last month has been like living in a psychological thriller that I wouldn't believe if someone else was telling me this story. Planning wedding number 6 while secretly coordinating with a network of trafficking survivors has been the most surreal experience of my life. I've had to become an actress, pretending to be the hopeful bride-to-be, while actually orchestrating what Maya calls the most elaborate takedown operation in anti-trafficking history. Marcus has been so relieved that I forgave him after the 6th disaster. He keeps telling me how much he loves me, how he can't wait to finally be my husband, and every word breaks my heart a little more because I can see him fighting something in his own mind. There are moments when he looks at me with such confusion, like he's trying to remember something important but can't quite grasp it. The worst part is watching him with Sophia. I've been observing them carefully, and I've realized something that changes everything. Sophia genuinely loves him too. She's not some calculating seductress playing games. When she looks at Marcus, I see the same pain in her eyes that I feel in my chest. She's trapped in this situation just like he is. Maya helped me understand the psychology behind Helena's operation. She doesn't just traffic people for money, she destroys families for sport. She finds people who love each other and turns that love into a weapon. Sophia's family was threatened 3 years ago. Her younger brother was kidnapped, and Helena told her the only way to keep him alive was to follow orders exactly. Every emergency that pulled Marcus away from our weddings wasn't Sophia manipulating him, it was Helena activating the chip and Sophia desperately trying to minimize the damage while keeping her brother safe. She's been suffering just as much as I have, maybe more, because she knows exactly what's happening and feels powerless to stop it. I confronted her last week. Not angrily, not as the jealous fiancé, but as someone who finally understood we were on the same side. I found her at the coffee shop where Marcus and I first met, and I sat down across from her without invitation. "Your brother's name is David, he's 19, and he's being held at a facility outside Portland," I said quietly. "Helena told you that if you ever stop following her orders, he'll disappear forever." Sophia went white as a sheet. For a moment I thought she might run, but then she started crying. Not delicate tears, but the kind of sobbing that comes from 3 years of carrying impossible weight alone. "You don't understand," she whispered. "She doesn't just threaten to kill him. She sends me videos of what she does to people who disobey her. I've seen things that will haunt me forever." That's when I told her about Maya, about the crimson roses, about the real plan for wedding number 6. Sophia looked at me like I was offering her salvation, which I guess I was. "If we do this," she said, "if we really try to stop her and we fail." "We won't fail," I told her, "because we're not doing this alone anymore." Maya arrived 2 weeks ago with 12 other women, all survivors of Helena's network, all trained in combat and intelligence gathering. Reddit, I wish I could describe what it feels like to be surrounded by women who have turned their trauma into strength. They move like shadows, think 3 steps ahead of everyone else, and they've all chosen to risk their lives to make sure no one else goes through what they did. But the real breakthrough came when Maya brought someone I never expected to see again, Dr. Sarah Williams, a neurosurgeon who used to work with Helena before she realized what the research was really for. Sarah escaped Helena's organization 2 years ago and has been working to develop a way to safely remove the neural implants. "The good news," Sarah told me, "is that the implants can be deactivated without surgery. The bad news is that it has to be done while the person is conscious and the chip is actively transmitting, which means Marcus has to be under Helena's control when we try to free him," I finished. "That's the most terrifying part of this plan, Reddit. In order to save Marcus, I have to watch Helena activate the chip one more time. I have to see the man I love disappear behind that blank, controlled expression while Sarah works to break the connection forever. We've discovered that Helena has been building an army. The neural implants aren't just in Marcus, she's been systematically targeting men in positions of power for the last 5 years. Politicians, business leaders, law enforcement officials. She's created a network of unwilling puppets that she can activate whenever she needs favors, information, or protection. Wedding number 6 isn't just about me and Marcus anymore. It's about stopping Helena before she can expand her control network internationally. Maya found intelligence suggesting Helena plans to activate every chip simultaneously during our ceremony, turning our wedding into a demonstration of her power for potential international buyers. The plan is elegant in its simplicity. We're holding the wedding on the Serenity, a yacht owned by one of my father's associates. Helena thinks she's walking into a controlled environment where she has all the advantages. What she doesn't know is that Maya and her team have spent 2 weeks turning that yacht into a fortress designed to trap her and anyone she brings with her. Sophia will be there, playing her role as the fragile assistant one last time. But instead of pulling Marcus away from the altar, she'll be leading Helena directly into our trap. The crimson roses will be positioned as catering staff, security, even wedding guests. Every person Helena sees will be someone ready to fight. The most dangerous part is that we don't know how many controlled men Helena might bring with her. Maya estimates she could have access to dozens of implanted individuals, including some very powerful people who would do anything to protect their secret shame. Marcus still doesn't know any of this. Sarah says the shock of learning the truth could damage his psyche before we can remove the implant safely. So I have to keep lying to him, keep pretending I believe this wedding will be our happy ending, when really it might be the most dangerous day of our lives. 3 days, Reddit. 3 days until I either marry the love of my life or watch everything burn down around us. Maya keeps telling me that courage isn't about not being afraid, it's about being terrified and choosing to act anyway. I'm terrified, but I'm also angry, and that anger is stronger than my fear. Helena stole my sister's life, stole 3 years of my happiness, and turned the man I love into a weapon against me. She's hurt so many people, destroyed so many families, and she's done it all while hiding behind the mask of a respected professional. On Saturday, that ends. One way or another, Helena Ashford's reign of terror stops at wedding number 6. The next update will either be my victory celebration or my obituary. Either way, you'll know how this story ends. Wish me luck, Reddit. I'm going to need all of it. Reddit, I'm alive. Wedding number 6 happened, but not how anyone expected. The morning started perfectly. Marcus was genuinely happy for the first time in 3 years, telling me how beautiful I looked, how he couldn't wait to call me his wife. The serenity looked like a fairy tale, white roses everywhere, sunset painting the sky pink and gold. Maya and the crimson roses were positioned perfectly as staff and security. Helena arrived late, bringing 6 men with blank expressions, but our plan fell apart when I saw Marcus's father among them. He'd been missing for 2 months, and seeing him with that same empty stare broke something in Marcus. "Something's wrong with my father," Marcus whispered, grabbing my arm. "His eyes aren't right." Helena activated her master control device. Suddenly Marcus wasn't Marcus anymore, blank expression, no recognition when he looked at me. "Marcus Romano Blackwood," Helena called out like addressing a dog. "Bring me your bride." Watching the man you love become a stranger is hell. Marcus started walking me toward Helena like cargo, and I had to let him because Sarah needed him close to break the connection. Then Sophia broke script. Instead of following our plan, she threw herself between Marcus and Helena, screaming, "I can't do this anymore. David, I'm so sorry." Helena shot Sophia in the shoulder. "Defective assets get discarded." Maya gave the signal early. The crimson roses appeared everywhere, weapons drawn, but Helena's controlled men responded instantly. My wedding deck became a battlefield in seconds. I dove behind overturned tables while bullets shattered champagne glasses. Sarah was trying to reach Marcus with her device, but Helena's men formed a protective circle. Even under control, Marcus kept positioning himself between me and gunfire, his face showing confusion and pain as his mind fought the chip. Maya put a bullet through Helena's control device. The explosion was followed by the most beautiful sound, Marcus gasping my name like he was drowning. "Isabella? What? Where am I?" But Helena pointed her gun at Marcus's head. If I can't have my perfect puppet, no one can. I had a choice. Let someone else be the hero or act. I tackled Helena. We rolled across the deck, fighting for the gun. I could hear Marcus shouting my name, Maya ordering everyone to hold fire because we were too close. The gun went off. For a moment I thought I was dead. Then I realized the blood wasn't mine, it was Helena's. Sophia had crawled across the deck and shot Helena in the back. "That's for my brother," Sophia whispered as Helena died with shocked eyes. "And everyone you hurt." The aftermath was chaos. Coast Guard, FBI, paramedics everywhere. Sarah removed the neural implants while Marcus and his father were unconscious. Sophia survived her wound. Her brother David was found safe with 7 other victims. Marcus remembers everything now. Every ruined wedding, every time he chose Sophia without understanding why. He's been apologizing for days until I kiss him quiet. "I lost 3 years of loving you properly," he said yesterday. "We make new memories," I told him. "Better ones." Which brings me to the important part. Yesterday morning, I realized I'd been nauseous for weeks, not from stress, from something else. I'm pregnant, Reddit, 3 months along. Our baby was with me through everything, the investigation, planning, the final battle. When I told Marcus, he cried happy tears and proposed again. "Proposal 101, he said, getting on one knee in our kitchen. "Will you marry me?" Not because anyone's forcing me, just because I love you and want to prove that love is a choice I make every day. I said yes. We're planning a small ceremony next month. Maya as maid of honor, Sophia as bridesmaid. No yacht, no elaborate decorations. Just us, choosing each other with clear minds. The Crimson Roses are expanding internationally. I'm helping lead it. Helena's network is being dismantled across 3 continents. Marcus's firm now protects trafficking survivors. Sometimes I look at Marcus and can't believe we survived. He's more present now, more intentionally loving, like packing 3 years of stolen affection into every kiss. He talks to the baby every night, telling stories about how mommy saved daddy. "What will you name the baby?" Sophia asked yesterday. I looked at Marcus sleeping peacefully and knew exactly. "Hope," I said. Because even when everything seems impossible, hope keeps you moving forward. So Reddit, that's how my story ends. Not with a perfect fairy tale, but something better: love that survived mind control and human trafficking. Love that chose to fight instead of surrender, turned trauma into purpose, and created new life in chaos. Wedding 101 will be perfect, not because nothing will go wrong, but because we're both choosing to be there. Thank you for following this journey. The best revenge against people trying to destroy your life is refusing to let them succeed. We won, Reddit. Love won.